Okay. Good morning, everybody. Looks like we're all set here. Welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared. It is February 9th, 2023. And we're kind of seeing some signs of potential consolidation. It's probably one of the first price pullbacks on the uptrend that has not necessarily resulted in a fresh higher high on continuation. So yesterday was an inside day. Bit of relative weakness in certain sectors in the market, and ones that were more notable were actually found in some of the major communication stocks. One that was quite interesting, and this was kind of a thesis idea from yesterday, so I wanted to just kind of cover why I was looking in this region and why I was targeting stocks like these. Right now, there's a lot of news cycle regarding the AI developments by either up-and-coming companies, obviously ChatGPT, and some of the collaboration and acquisition done by Microsoft, some of the integration that they're going to do with Bing and their search engine. Having these types of stocks in play is great because of volatility. And what's great about volatility for traders is we often get widespread days where the stock can not only move in one direction, but move much farther than most expect. It tends to be a larger expansionary type day. And the thing that I was noticing yesterday was there was a lot of topping technical behavior in names that were leading the charge. Obviously, they've had great runs and are essentially going parabolic on their respective time frames. But along with that, we were starting to see some of the companies that have been investing in AI stocks for a long time. They've had R&D for multiple years in that area. And due to the chat GPT competition, they're actually having to advertise or start to promote the type of work that they've been accomplishing. And the one that was notable was Alphabet. Now, their presentation didn't go quite as well as maybe expected. They're also not necessarily at a point to have the type of integration that some of the other companies are working on with regards to their search engine. But that's definitely going to be one to look out for some of the more fundamental and future growth potential. The thing that was interesting about yesterday is the structure. For one, if you notice, Alphabet not only down on the session, but the type of gap down here is often what a lot of people look at as a little bit of a shock and awe type of move. And usually it leaves certain participants trapped in a trade. So for example, Google, Alphabet had a pretty clear uptrend, very notable hourly pullbacks being bought. And then, of course, some relative news breaches the low. And when we look at the daily, what we're starting to notice is things like gaps that either markets like to repair, along with the idea that even if you're a buyer in the past couple of sessions, you're kind of contained within this upper region. Bit of a resistant area as well with the 200 period. But the session before indicated strength. There was a pretty large spread. We made it to the high, bit of a box on the 60-minute. And just the idea of breaching that low leaves a bit of an exhaustive or island style gap. Oftentimes, those are indicative of either a relative top or something a bit more significant, just the end of that particular trend, the actual confirmation that the trend is changing or starting to become reversible. And we also saw that a little bit with Microsoft as well. I wouldn't have said that Microsoft was one to maybe target. It actually started the session quite strong, but similar to Alphabet, this was a gap up open, and the simplest target to go for on a rejection of something with that type of strength is simply coming back to the previous day close. So the reason we use these types of levels and the reason they work so well when you're in the right technical posture is because of some of the concepts around overextension, the idea that as things move in maybe one favorable direction, you often hit extremes, along with just the idea that as this continues to climb, there are much deeper participants who might be looking at this as an opportunity to sell. And this is kind of what shifts the balance in the market, along with the fact that due to this type of weakness, we might be starting to look at some of our tech sector coming back in a bit. Obviously, nothing really looks bad from a technical trend perspective, but we know that this is a bit of a risky spot for longs just because of the speed of this movement. And we really don't know what a true pullback looks like on something like a weekly time frame. You kind of pair that with Alphabet's weakness and the idea that as long as this is starting to fade a bit, we need to be careful assuming strength in the market. It tends to be a bit more, I would say, choppy, or sometimes just bifurcated. Some sectors strong, some weak. In yesterday's case, a lot of core weakness coming from Alphabet, but this wasn't necessarily just one stock dragging down the market. There's quite a few areas of relative weakness. And overall, we just kind of stayed as an inside range on yesterday's trade. Now, as I mentioned before, I do believe that we're looking at the structure of a balance range in formation, obviously not knowing exactly how long this takes to form, but remember how balance range trade. And this is kind of important for those who are maybe asking why the market is gapping up this morning. I saw a couple of those comments coming through. And the answer is when you're in a range, gap ups and gap downs in the range are quite common. In fact, you'll notice that a lot of these sessions are either relatively weak, closing somewhere near the low, and then seeing a gap up open. Now, obviously, we don't know what the open is going to look like, so we could come down quite aggressively, but we're still in the range. So the gaps in this region don't really matter too much. The fact that we're not getting follow through is what's important. We're not necessarily looking for the same trend continuation that we saw a couple of pullbacks prior. There are some other examples here. You can see here's a low and probably the close. Here's the open, a little bit higher. We're closing here and we're sort of starting somewhere down here. So the sort of spread between where we close and where we open inside of a balance range is indicative of nominal type gaps, common gaps, ones that for the most part will get filled, but afterwards we're looking more for the extremes of this range to provide some of the longer and wider spread opportunities, the ones that have the type of room to run. So these ranges aren't necessarily showcasing anything significant, except for market kind of wants to stay here and maybe transact a little bit further. That's at least what the information we're getting so far. And as we look at the open this morning, or where we might consider opening, we certainly have retraced the entirety of yesterday's trade. But remember, we're still in this range. So for the most part, we actually would love to see movement to the upside and then start to consider countering it, coming back in, basically playing this range back and forth for as long as it exists. And that's, of course, more the intraday style that we have to take in this point, simply because the market is contained within this price region. So wanted to kind of call that out, and just kind of looking at yesterday's performance. It was true in the NASDAQ as well. And just remember some of the rules here relative to if you are trading NASDAQ stocks, the same range applies, historically. Remove this to see the spread here. There are highs and lows in this region. I would go ahead and mark them accordingly once you kind of dig into the shorter time frame to see where those impact candles occur. I think this one's a little bit higher than it should be. But essentially, if you can define this region through price, you can start to see that a lot of our trade right now might start to take shape in this area and really form the same structure. Lots of back and forth, really quick moves in either direction, especially overnight. And then, of course, not necessarily seeing follow through from either side. A bull really isn't able to get out, and then a bear, of course, is not seeing a drop. Certainly, the bear would want to counter the trend here, but unless we see something like we saw back in June, they'll need to actually break down and clear the range low. So these are some things to kind of watch out for. And as an intraday trader, they're really important because it kind of showcases where to take profit at times. Sometimes you can be in a really good looking, 5 or 15 minute uptrend or downtrend. You hit one of these extremes, and then slowly but surely that becomes the top. You might not know it sort of at the moment, and usually they don't want to disrupt the short-term trend immediately. But afterwards, whatever turnaround play looks like, it essentially gives back the entire move, and usually sometimes a bit more. So be careful assuming sort of like your retracement levels in this region, and definitely be looking for the back and forth trade. So see if my sinuses are still allowing me to talk here. So it's Thursday. This is kind of where I wanted to talk a bit more market generated information. Given the fact that I haven't been feeling well, I think I'll just kind of let it ride until next week. If y'all do want to look at some tickers, I think this would be a great time to call them out. I saw one ticker come across already. Everybody wants to know about Tesla. Did clear 200 yesterday, closed above, gapping up this morning on some price reduction news. So we're kind of hitting some 210 extremes. I think what's going to be important here is how they decide to trade around 200. Yesterday's trade was pretty much focused on that price, and there's a little bit of a chop fest near 200 most of the day. We're gapping out. Obviously, any bearish position is still trying to find its footing in this region, and these 100% retracements are extremely dangerous because there's obviously bears trying to short in between these regions. And then as you get to the top end, it puts the most pressure on the bears in this case. New resistances to kind of be on the lookout for. I would certainly be looking for a back test of 205. We haven't really done that yet, and we shot past it. So any weakness, I'd just be looking for some back test scenarios. Still remember 200 is important. It's a big value zone for Tesla. And then just the shortest term kind of levels and resistances up here. I would argue that there's a relative high at about 224 before we started to really collapse back in November. So not really seeing anything of high importance outside of those price regions. There's also this 207, 208 swing low from a historical period, but it kind of provides a range of interest. If we back things up a bit, I'm not too interested in anything historical until we get a little bit higher. But all in all, you can kind of see what we're dealing with on this stock. The weekly paints the picture, of course. Massive fear, capitulation style volume, turnaround play, and a very surprising V reversal with little to no consolidation. So essentially, all the way down to the low, no real bounce, all the way back to the high, no real pullback. Those kind of moves are often what traders want, but they're also very presumptuous in how extreme they can be. So that's kind of what we like about Tesla, but just be careful. Bears obviously want to find sort of that relative extreme. The thing about it is the higher it goes, the faster we can see some of the intraday sessions. We could actually see like a pretty wide bullish candle near the top, you know, if that's how it's going to start to become a little bit extreme. So NVIDIA, you know, topping pattern yesterday. Interesting spot for it to form. I think more so than just the candle. There's a technical gap over in this region, and we tried to push into it, failed initially. The actual gap fill itself would be 231.19. So if you want to just kind of mark off the swing highs of the balance range back in looks like April, and then the actual gap fill price. Am I a bull on this stock? The trend would tell me to kind of remain bullish, but I wouldn't necessarily be scouting for it today after yesterday's trade. I'd be looking either for a pullback or a much more significant consolidation at this point. And if it does decide to sell, the simplest level I could give you would be the low of the range. So similar to how the ETFs are trading, think of NVIDIA also enters into a price region of chop. Having the high established means that we could have risk back to approximately 212, 213. And really, if I look at the trend line, that's pretty healthy. You know, that's a normal pullback for NVIDIA's daily chart. So nothing crazy about NVIDIA. I'm not super short until we start actually maybe breaking the low, but it's a good point to maybe like cool off and, you know, start consolidating sideways instead of just this straight up price activity that we've been seeing. So that's NVIDIA. Disney earnings, fairly good earnings. Markets seem to respond a bit better to the layoff news during the press conference. We're still seeing that theme of layoff is a price and revenue reduction process for a lot of companies. Usually a lot of companies kind of overhired, and now that there's some price pressure and some of the more recessionary or inflationary pressures coming, these companies laying off is seen as, at least in the short term, positive for price performance. On yesterday's close, however, Disney was trading at about 112, and the market was pricing about $6 of expected movement. To me, Disney achieved that on the first move, and then the press conference made it relatively stronger. You know, it was a bit more extreme. Arguably, it doubled the expected move near the high. It's come back in. What I traded here, it's going to be a little tricky. I'm actually more inclined to be neutral on this stock today, and then maybe tomorrow look for a directional decision. But to me, if it breaches 120, it starts to get into that 1.5 sigma type expected move, and I would just lean more towards the price activity. If it stays under 120, it's either going to be very choppy or a possible short if we start to kind of clear the pre-market lows. So I would need more information on this one. earnings stocks are always tricky because if they achieve what the option market expected, the question is it going to move anymore? Or was that the majority of the movement? So we want something that can move. And, a stock like ENPH yesterday is an example of one where just a little bit more information, especially in the morning, seeing the 5-minute orb setup or some sort of intraday, volume signal would indicate that the stock could at least continue a move. And, this one not only sold off, but collapsed after earnings. No one really supported the upside. So those are the kind of things that I look for earnings, but it doesn't mean that a stock has to move after earnings. So let's see. Microsoft, we did look at that one. And then I'll do Netflix and Amazon for YouTube. I don't buy rejection candles on the next day. They're either going to be inside or, just choppy. There was bearish presence yesterday. We're kind of back into the middle of the sell point. So I'm either neutral or short. I think the bulls on the longer trends have kind of found a top to trade around. And this is either going to be more profit taking or just a straight sell off. The thing that starts to happen with trends, and this is not perfect, but a bull who sees a day like yesterday is thinking one thing only. If I bought Microsoft earlier this year, somewhere in this region, and I'm seeing a clear signal that the market can't go higher, I might consider profit taking, at which point we could trade sideways or something akin to a sideways. And then later, if we lose trend, it starts to become more bearish. So the key about this is the top end of the trend is aggressively bearish, but then afterwards, it doesn't necessarily have to fall off a cliff. The thing that a bear would want to see is almost like a trend reversal. And there's room for it, but you have to do a lot to get it. You have to break the pivot lows. So, swing high would be decent for a short. It's trading somewhere around here. I'd prefer to see the volume come back in and then just push it back down, at least for an intraday short. Otherwise, it could trade sideways. It really depends on what the market's going to do today for Microsoft. Yesterday was the day to trade it. Alphabet, Microsoft, those days when the spread is wide, those are the days you want to focus on them. Let's see, Netflix. Interesting. Recovered the gap. This was a massive earnings gap. It actually pulled into the gap fill price and then bounced, which I thought was kind of interesting from a technical sense. We're still kind of forming structure that would tell me sideways right now. If I look at this wick right here, that's kind of like my first red flag on the play. You don't want to form like your little box there, but this high is a little bit of a problem. It also tells me that the high that was tried to breach is resistance. So this is enough information to tell me that that's resistance. That's all I need. That actual price being whatever the swing high is over here, about 370, it looks like. And we're gapping a little bit over it. Don't be surprised if the market pulls in aggressively. This could also kind of collapse back into the box and swing down. I will say, though, that this is a really strong name this year and on the recovery. And I haven't really seen like a clear short signal. Nothing, on these time frames has broken trend or anything. But I'm also looking at how far we've gone. And it's a great spot for bulls to take profit. Some of the bag holder bulls that bought this region are starting to kind of, see some degrees of profitability slash flatness on their position. So that's a good time for the stock to trade similar. It's instead of going up, probably trading a bit more sideways to slightly down. Um, but for now, the short-term trends are holding really well. And this is a little bit of a surprise, like the move has been surprising. Amazon, interesting, little weak. I don't like trading it at 100. I'd rather trade it into 100 at best. So if it gives you room away from 100, maybe you can move towards it. If it's going to open at 100, it's 50-50. I mean, we can look at the daily all we want, but there's some down days. This is a bounce day. It's centered at 100 right now. So the edge comes when it gets extreme, and then you get like room to sell or, to fade. But now that it's here, it's kind of like a big question mark. I would only focus on it if you see like a clear setup. Otherwise, assume that it's going to trade noisy. And it's mostly just because of the whole dollar concept. Stocks like to run into whole dollars and then start just trading sideways. So, but if we sell, the thing that would be very clear is starting to lose these types of lows, because you get that trapped approach of big extension, big drawdown, tiny bounce, small bounce right now. If we can lose that low, we could maybe sell down to the volume profile lows. Explain why the spread becomes wide. On big moves, you got to be thinking that no matter what the candles look like, there's always bulls and bears. If it's extreme, especially on like big gaps near highs and lows, that often is where you get like the most pressure on one side of the market, usually the euphoria from the bulls and lots of momentum coming from it, along with a lot of bears who are feeling the most pain at that point. And that's usually where scales tilt too. So one of the concepts about trends is that the spread's actually kind of small as it's moving, but it gets really wide near the tops and the bottoms. There's a couple of examples out there, like coin hit some extremes. You see how the candles are much bigger near the tops? Like it starts moving, it's looking good, lots of good confirmation. All of a sudden, it's like one extreme day. That's usually the end or near the end. It's just the relative extreme means that a bunch of bulls got a lot of profit and a bunch of bears felt the most pressure. So the technicals tell you that things are probably going to start to hit either a stall or a turnaround at that point. Happens on parabolics, happens on end of trend type of spreads and exhaustion type movement, exhaustion gaps and stuff. So, all right. Pre-market prep, stay tuned for that. It looks like we're getting some data as well in the next couple minutes or seconds, sorry. So be on the lookout for that reaction. Trade safe today. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk more next week. Hopefully I'll be feeling better, and we'll cover some of that market generated information concept. So talk to y'all soon.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today? Not sure if he's on yet. We'll give him a second. But we'll wait for that. Guys, big thumbs up for Jared engineering the markets every single morning, guys. And some good information today as well. And hope he feels better as he's trying to get over a cold or whatever he got going on there. But hopefully you get better, my friend. All right, guys, we'll give Norm a minute or two. Let's go ahead and look at the stuff we had yesterday. So hopping over here into our screen, we had a lot of stuff on here, man. But Meta was actually really good yesterday. Let's hop in and take a look at that right over here. So again, beautiful drop, and we know Meta has been trading so well the last couple of days. But yesterday, beautiful drop here. Great 5 minute opening range breakdown here. So you have the two ranges. You got the candle, and you also have this big one. Either one would have turned out pretty good. So this breakdown here on the 5 minute gave you a nice opportunity after struggling for a bit. And then from there, you got tons of stuff happening, guys. Moving averages, selling off the VWAP. You got a reverse ABCD pattern. There's just so much going on. And when you can have low of the day breakdown right there, when you have so many combinations on a strategy, man, it can turn out pretty good. So we saw that yesterday. Coming down over here, we had Tesla as well. Tesla got going pretty early, pretty extended 5 minute opening range there. And then after it does this move, this is what Tesla does sometimes. And we haven't seen this in a while, but we saw it yesterday. Just look at these wicks. It's very difficult to trade when Tesla starts doing this stuff right here. So that is very tough to get into. You just don't know if it's going to actually wants to sell off. There's a lot of buying pressure. I mean, I would take this as a stock that wants to push higher, and it does do that. But man, this was tough. This was tough yesterday. And it never gives you a clean break. Like, yeah, it breaks towards the high, but it comes right back down, no continuation. So Tesla was a real tough one to trade. This, I'm sure, caught many traders. Because I mean, we're looking for Tesla to run up. I think it's gonna get to. We were joking about 210, 215, 207 this morning. I'm telling you that this stock is on fire right now. So we'll see where it goes. But yeah, possible fake out there. Just couldn't get going today already. Looking very nice. 4.4 million. That's gonna be on our list again today. Here is a Nvidia. Nvidia this morning we have 1 second. I'm gonna reset something here on my side and see if that would work. 1 sec. Give me 1 second, guys. Um, all right, excellent. So let's see what we got going on here. So here's Nvidia, guys. Nvidia yesterday as well, even worse than Tesla, really. I mean, just one candle overlapping the other one, very wicky. I mean, this looks algo-like. It looks like a stock that trades horrible for the most part. But as you can see here, that one did not trade very well at all. Just heard like a slam or something from outside. Um, so yeah, so very all over the place here, as you can see. Just not a great trader. Again, it's funny, you had stocks that normally don't trade very well, Meta and Uber. Look at Uber. Actually had a nice breakdown, which I was not expecting, and I didn't trust it, so didn't trade it. But it actually had a nice breakdown here yesterday, and a nice continuation moving up here. And then we have a Baba as well. You can see on here had a nice breakdown, and Baba looked very interesting on the daily, as you guys saw. And then from there, just kind of went sideways. So didn't really get a great reversal like we saw. I think it was Uber, right? Uber had a nice reversal, almost getting towards where they opened up, right? So a nice reversal there. Took all day, but man, it was a nice one if you were able to catch it anywhere in this area, at a good entry or playing off these levels, 35 especially. You could see the support happening there. Yeah, you had a dive, below that. But once it got above that, and it kept going, that's a great area to play it off for a possible bounce. And then we had Google. Google actually traded pretty decent pre-market, but at the market open did not do a whole lot. I mean, just a lot of sideways action. It did break down further, but it was, again, it traded better than what it normally does, but still, I was not convinced this was a good one. It's just the way they trade sometimes a little funky. And Microsoft as well got moving down here, popped up, and it just kind of sold off throughout the day. Again, didn't really watch the price action on Microsoft, so I'm not sure how clean this was. to actually take a trade on. This part here from 10 to 15 to about 12 looks pretty good, but again, not sure how that actually formed. Let's do this here. Uh, let's see if so Norm is having some issues getting connected. I'm not sure if it's on mine or not, Norm. So maybe we could have Peter test it. If Peter can get on and try to connect, we'll see if it's on my system or something else. All right, cool. Let's try that. But if not, no problem. We'll keep rolling here. All right, let's get our gappers list this morning. Gappers list today, guys. As you can see, you're getting an echo. You said, is anybody getting an echo in our room? Just confirm. I see Susan is saying she's getting one. No echo. Okay. All right. So it's just Susan. All right. Good. I mean, not good. That's just you, but good. That's not the system. Okay. Cool. Let's look at our gappers list this morning, guys. So gapping up, we got a bunch of stuff on here. 48%, 27, a couple of 8, 7, and 6s down here as well. This list is actually very, very extensive. As you can see, everything is on here, guys. Lyft, Baba, Shopify, I mean, Plug, PLTR, which I haven't seen PLTR in who knows how long. Everything is in this gap up list this morning, and the gap down a little bit less, as you can see that on there. Affirm down 15%. Ooh, I'm looking forward to that one. See what's going on there, and a couple of other ones actually down pretty decent this morning. We'll dive into that. And UPST, I know a lot of you guys like this one. We'll look at what's going on there with UPST as well. Very risky stock, but worth taking a look at. All right, let's dive in. Let's go ahead and as we get through some of the stuff here, let's come over here and let's remove this watch list from yesterday. Let's see here. Control A, Control X. Just reading some comments here. Give me a second, guys. All right, excellent. So Peter's going to test to see if he can get on. All right. In the meantime, here, let's take a look at what we have on our list. So let's start over here. And yeah, let's go with what's gapping up since we have a lot to go through there. CSII, man, look at this thing. This thing is up 48%. Looks like a buyout though. Looks like a buyout the way this thing is moving at the moment. Not a great ticker. Very low on volume, as you can see here for the most part. So yeah, so not a good one right now. Let's go down to the next one. APP. APP this morning. We are up 27%. I do like the gap up today. Looks like on earnings last night. Let's confirm that here. Yep. Post market earnings yesterday, the 8th. So that's popping them up today. For the most part, I look at the volume quickly because I'm not familiar with this APP. And I see that there's not a whole lot of volume that's being traded on the daily here. So again, not a great one. And then if we move over to the daily, yeah, it just doesn't look good here. So not a fan of it now. Really light volume as well. So yeah, we'll skip on that one for the moment. Let's see here. 1 second, guys, as we're troubleshooting some stuff. All right, let's see. Okay. All right, Peter. Yeah, I see you was able to connect. Just the camera was not working, but I see your connection is coming in here. Okay. All right, good. So we'll have to figure out what's going on there with our system. Let's look at TPR, guys. TPR this morning, we are up 8.1. And at the moment, that's not looking very good. It looks very, very choppy. It looks almost foreign. I mean, it looks really bad. Very light volume, and just not a whole lot going on. Let's take a look at you. This is Unity software, and this comes up once in a while, guys, and it doesn't trade very well. So I normally just dismiss it, and today it doesn't look any different than it has been in the past. So we're going to dismiss it again today. So let's move on to the next one. We have here Carvana. Man, Carvana is doing some stuff. Why am I getting this? It's YouTube announcements. Carvana is doing some stuff. Yesterday, they pushed up all the way from 13 to about 17. So you had a huge rally there. Again, just memeing because there hasn't been any conversation about any investor like we had on BBBY where someone is trying to, or some people trying to put in $1 billion that could get absorbed so quickly. Man, look at this. It's just horrible. Can you imagine anyone that read this news? This is why, guys, again, and we have time, so important to be very, very careful on when you see these articles that sound incredibly positive, like we just saw yet a couple of days ago, and this thing pops up here, on an investor, and look at it now. So imagine anyone that read that say, "Oh wow, they're gonna come back," start buying stuff here for long term, and it's just look at this now, 287, just down huge, man. It's just be very, very careful. Sometimes these news, these alerts, whatever, it's just not great. So very careful with this stuff, man. And a stock that's so destroyed like BBBY, you want to be very careful. I'm sure there's a lot of people hurting this morning because of that. Um, Right over here, we have the next one is Disney. So Disney's been making some noise, guys. Look at the pop we have on Disney. Earnings after hours last night, and that obviously has been treating them pretty nice today. We are up 5.7 on Disney. I like Disney when it has earnings. It can trade very well. And this gap up to me is very interesting because there's so many opportunities that can come from this. Whether we are going to rally here or whether this thing is extended and we're going to see some kind of drop. So I really, really like Disney this morning. Definitely in play. Almost 1 million shares traded. So that's quite a lot for Disney. And even yesterday, we had a lot going on. Look at the type of volume we had yesterday going into the earnings. So again, looking pretty nice there. All right, man. We have a ton. I'm not gonna go through all of this. There's just so many. I want to leave room for you guys to throw some stuff at me, and then we will go from there. So we'll stop here. Let's see what's gapping down. It's a much shorter list, and I want to see if there's anything here that might be worth our attention. Apps earnings last night getting crushed here. They're down 17%. So obviously the market's not treating them very well after that. This morning, 430,000 shares traded. It's a stock that doesn't get a whole lot of volume, right? If you look down here, it seems to be what 2.7, if that, to about 1.8 million for the most part. So very, very light on the volume that they get, man. And it's just I don't think they trade very well. So I love this gap down because when companies are so extended like this, you can get a move to either close the gap if it's an overreaction, or if things are really bad and we come back to test these lows, you can see a nice continuation and just a waterfall the entire day. And that's pretty nice too. You can get into some really nice trend trading. So possible maybe. What do you guys think? Possible for this? Let's do that. Let's do a possible, and we can always come back and see what's going on there. A firm down 16%, guys. This is pretty strong at the moment. So 16% here. We are 1.9 million shares traded. This is earnings. It has to be. Yeah, earnings last night. So that's not obviously doing good for them there. And you can see the drop that they're getting. So today could be a good day for a firm to keep on deck. You know what? I like this volume. I like this drop. I know they're not the best trader, but I think today they are in play. I think today's worth keeping these guys on our main list here. Next, we have GMed. What's GMed? This is Globus Medical, some kind of medical company or something. But their spread seems pretty nasty, guys. 60 cents just earlier, just a few minutes ago. 60 cents right on there. That's not nice. 75. Yeah, this is not good. So that spread, I'm sure it's going to get better at the market open, but I have no hopes. When I look down here, it's just under the hood a little bit, and the most you're getting is 710,000 on some of these big days. I can only imagine how wide the spread can get and how nasty it can be to try to trade it. So with that, guys, be very, very careful if you're looking to trade this thing here. Next on the list is MAT. MAT this morning. I don't like the way MAT trades. We've seen it on our list plenty of times. Today they're down 10%. I'm sure earnings. Yes, earnings confirmed here on Trade Ideas. And you can see here only 119,000 shares being traded. So again, not looking too hot at the moment. Next we have BAX, BAX. So BAX. Let me see, guys. One second, guys. We're trying to work some things out here on the back end as I'm also trying to do some stuff. Um, okay, so Peter's not connecting neither. What is going on? That is strange. One second, guys. We're going to try something a little bit different here. It looks like it's the vMix servers, maybe. Yeah, something's up. Our buddies are not able to connect, which is extremely rare. That's happening. Okay. Let me see if I do something like this. Um, hmm. Interesting. That has never happened before. 1 second, guys. I'm gonna test something. See if we could get one of our mods in here to join me as well. So 1 second. Let's try this. Something must have changed, but I just created a new link for you guys. I'm gonna send it over. When I say you guys, I'm speaking to Norm or Peter. Let's send a brand new link. Yeah, see that. Let's try that. But yeah, something looks weird. I could tell because usually I'll have your name there. I don't see that. So something does look funky today on the server side. But we'll figure it out after this. BAX guys on here looks nasty. Looks like a buyout. So yeah, not fun. We'll skip on that one. UPST today. This is not looking great, and not actually not bad, but it's not a great ticker. I don't like the way it trades, but I know many of you do. So I'm going to add it here. UPST. We'll add it to the list right on there. Next GNS is a horrible ticker. Always on this list. Was here yesterday as well, and I always dismiss it and move to something else. And then we have BTI. BTI, by the way, it is down 2%, 510,000. And more of a looks a little foreign here, very gappy, very light volume. Yeah, not a big fan of this BTI. So there we go, guys. That's what we have so far. So man, out of all of this, I know it's a lot in the gap up list, and we'll find some more on here. We have Shopify, AMC, plug. We'll find something to look at. AI has been there we go. Peter in the house. What's going on, Peter?
Hey, Carlos.
Hey, wait, are you walking around connecting everything? Look at this.
Well, I couldn't get on from my work, my typical trading laptop. So let's do it from the workstation. So let's do it from my laptop. So
Sounds
hi
good, man.
guys.
That's so strange that it wouldn't work from the PC. But yeah, man, welcome. Glad to have you join us this morning. Um, so yeah, guys, we're gonna find there's a lot on here. We're gonna find something to trade. It's just right now what I went through so far that's on top of this list doesn't look great, but doesn't mean we won't get something here that we can take advantage of. All right, Peter, not sure if you have it before I go to the room. Not sure if you have anything that you're looking at that you want me to us to look at this morning.
There's I have to apologize. I don't know what you've already covered. There's a lot of earnings today, so I haven't gone through them all, but there's quite a number that came out either last night or this morning. Now I gotta run
Mm-hmm.
back and get my list.
Yeah, go for it,
Um,
man.
Usually most interest Disney is something that you often want to look at. Not only do they have earnings, but they announced layoffs,
Yeah.
so that may get them moving this morning. We had a couple of the gaming stocks, Win and MGM. Came out with earnings,
Mm-hmm.
so those might move. They don't usually move pre-market too much, so if you look at them now, there's probably not a lot of volume. And the other one that I was going to take a look at, haven't yet, CGC, just because it's sort of a legacy pot stock. They continue to do poorly. They're probably down at like $4 or something. I haven't even looked at them in a while. But
CGC. Let's take a look.
yeah, $2.
Oh
There
my
you go. Or
goodness.
never mind.
Yeah. Nobody's interested in weed in Canadian weed. And nobody's interested in that right now. Everything is about AI and layoffs. If you got those two things going for you, you're doing
Yeah.
well. But we don't care about weed at the moment.
The only other
um,
one to take note of, XPO. You remember they were a big mover probably about a year ago when all of the transport and shipping stocks took off.
yeah, yeah.
Remember, was it about a year ago? Somewhere in the daily, you'll find that they sort of shot up, and we had a little like 2 weeks maybe of fun with them. So I wanted to see if they were going to move, but so far it looks like they're not doing much of anything at all.
Yeah, pretty quiet at the moment. But yeah, to have Disney, CGC again, they're not doing a whole lot right now. You mentioned what's the other one you mentioned? I didn't look at that one. It was Disney, CGC. There was one
Uh,
more.
Win and MGM were the other
Yeah,
two
yeah,
that are.
yeah, yeah,
The,
yeah.
the last one I didn't mention, just to round it out, Mattel, MAT. They apparently had bad Christmas sales. They missed their numbers. You can see they're down about 11% so far. Volume is typically low in this pre-market, so those are the ones that I'll sort of in total keep an eye on. So it might be a busy day today because you never know what's going to start moving. We also have a number of IPOs. We can get to that later, but I'm surprised. It should be a good day for lots of things happening.
Okay, gotcha. All right, excellent. Let me see here, guys. Yeah, I fixed the firm. Thank you for that. So I got that fixed there. And yeah, let's go through some of the stuff on here. Looks like Norm is able to connect now on the link. So up to you guys whether you guys want to switch or not.
No, look, let me hand it back to Norm and let him take over. If he's connected, let me try disconnecting and hopefully he'll get right in there. So
yeah, we'll give it a shot. While that's happening, I'll go ahead and look at the chat and then both chats, YouTube and also our chat here with our members, guys. If you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. It does help us out a whole lot. We are sitting at 108 likes. We'd love to be over 200. But let's go ahead and start here, guys. Neo, let's start there. Someone mentioned Neo, and that is Kawakaki. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Neo here, guys, is up. Neo, man, it just doesn't look good. Volume, man, this started to look really bad, actually. You got 1.3 million shares traded. Look how this thing is trading on the 5-minute here. It is just pretty crappy, man. So I am not happy with that type of price action you're seeing there. So yeah, no good there. Let's take a look at what else we have here on our chat. We have hey, good morning, Norm. How you doing, brother?
I feel like I got locked out of my house.
yeah. I don't know what happened. I mean, it just didn't make sense. So something with their server probably was down or something.
I ended up having to, good morning, guys. I ended up having to open a different browser, which I've never had to use a different browser than Chrome for that.
Yeah, very strange.
Restarted my computer, everything. So glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you, brother. All right, so we're going through some stuff here. Before we get to the chat, Norm, anything that you like on your end?
I think Peter picked them out. Disney was the main one.
Disney, that's what I have as well. Yeah, Disney's on deck today. All right,
of course, Tesla.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah. That's a staple on our list here. So we're gonna put that on. There's Tesla. Absolutely. Which, by the way, I mean, guys, 207. I put my line here, 210. Right. Got my line here, 210. Let's see if we're gonna get it. I mean, it is just incredible. So we spoke about this. This could have gone either way. Would have not surprised me if it would have been at 190. I mean, it really could have gone either way, but it was definitely setting up to be explosive one way or the other, and we're seeing that now. So Tesla, pretty nice there. Let's get Microsoft on deck here, guys. So Microsoft, put it here. Microsoft is active too. More of a possible for now, but yeah, definitely see some action on it at the moment. I just don't know how they're going to be today. And so Microsoft for now, we can always move it up if we can. We looked at BTI, but BTI doesn't look great, guys.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it doesn't look great.
It's just in general, it's a terrible ticker.
So I'll be mindful. I think today you're going to find things are much better than BTI. So yeah, I'm not a fan of it. And I'm looking at the wrong ones. BTI, here it is, but doesn't look any better. So careful on that one. We have Tesla to the moon. Yes, Benham, hopefully. Google and Robinhood, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Robinhood. They never traded well. They never traded well? I don't think we ever. We might have looked at it before.
At the very beginning, they did, but now that they've gotten down to this price level, they really are terrible.
Yeah, when the first thing it came out, it was hype and everything was actually pretty good. Then after that, it has really died down. So, a lot of stocks with earnings today, guys, are gapping up and getting some volume, but I don't expect they're going to be trading too hot once the market opens, right? So that's just our take on this. CSII is a buyout. Yeah, that's a buyout. That looks you confirming it, right? It looks horrible. And let's take a look at Baba from Jason over on YouTube. Baba this morning. Yeah, I mean, it traded well yesterday towards the downside. Today's gapping up 3.3, 520. It could be interesting. I think, though, today's more of a possible one. We don't have as much volume as we had yesterday, I think. So, more of a possible for the most part. And then we can always push this up if we can. Tesla's on deck for sure, guys. That is on fire, as you can see there, almost 5.2. Amazon's looking pretty good as well. We're up 1.1, almost a million shares traded here. This is looking very nice. Yeah, put Amazon on deck. How about Apple? We got anything going on there? Thinking about usual suspects, Apple. That daily looks pretty good on Apple as well, guys. I mean, if you look at it, very similar to what Tesla had, right? You kind of have the slam happening at a 154, and we're slowly pushing higher. So that could be very, very interesting. Yeah, man, I already see this list growing way too, way too long at the moment.
Dennis is asking if we have any economic data today. We do not. The only thing that we had today, which we have every single Thursday morning, are initial jobless claims and continuing claims from the previous week. So that's every Thursday. Other than that, no data. There may be Fed speakers. I don't have a list of them today, but it's possible they're out there. We kind of get into that, though. Now that we've had Jay Powell speak, we had, I think, 5 or 6 Fed speakers yesterday. I believe there were 2 Monday off the top of my head. Once you start getting through the stable and you've had a lot of them already talk, they're not going to say anything new. And you've kind of got diminishing returns for each one that comes out subsequently, unless some major changes happen in the economy and in the markets, which has not happened. So,
yeah. All right, guys. I think we're pretty good on our list so far. Disney, Affirm, Tesla. I do have Amazon here as well, which is looking very similar to what Apple and probably a lot of our usual suspects are doing. The SPY at the moment, being very not very strong, but showing some signs of strength here as they go into 1% and trying to get towards the most recent highs. So that's good. But a lot of tickers are reacting to that. Oh yeah, Meta. Let's look. Meta's another one that was probably one of the best tickers that traded yesterday. So yeah, Meta's looking good as well, up 2%. Again, continues to be stuck in this range right here. So again, that is looking very nice. So yeah, Meta on deck. And what's the volume on Meta? We have 340. Not bad. They don't get a ton of volume pre-market, but 339 is pretty decent. CCJ due to a contract. Let's take a look. CCJ, never seen this one. Oh, no. For the way I trade, no, this is not looking good. No volume right now, and it doesn't look like it gets any volume for the most part. So be careful if you are going to trade that, and look out for the spread if it gets nasty. This doesn't look too bad, but again, just the volume not there. All right, guys, this is what we have. I think this is a pretty decent list. Let's go ahead to our community events and announcements coming up for this week. And then we'll come back and fine tune this list or add anything else. But I think right now it's a solid list.
All right. Every Monday night, Onboarding Technology with Carlos, 8 p.m. Eastern, open to all membership levels. So no matter, even if you're on a trial, come check it out. And it's especially designed for newer members. Tuesdays, we talk about strategy. Brian's webinar is up from Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we've got Thor talking about using Camarillo pivot points, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then Creta's webinar from last night should be up soon if it's not already. Psychology Wednesday, talking about identifying your fears in trading. And then next week, similar subject, Mike will be talking about overcoming fear of money. That's at 8 p.m. next Wednesday. Thursdays, we have mentorship. So today you've got John at 11 and Thor at 8. TradingTerminal.com, where we are building out a depot, if you will, for trading tools for the active trader. Everything from the earnings calendar you see there to insider information, not insider trading, big difference, but it's labeled insider. It talks about retail and what retail is looking at, along with politicians and big money managers. You've got the replay simulator, which we hope to have a real-time simulator very soon. And then, of course, scanners, which, once again, all tools that people pay thousands of dollars a year for free for you. So be sure to check that out. Our San Diego 2-day trading summit is filling up, so get your tickets soon. You can go to bearbulltraders.com/workshop or navigate it to it from the homepage. 2-day event includes live trading, a number of presentations and panel discussions, dinner the night between. So be sure to check that out. Love to see you there. And then if you'd like to try out the chat room, you can use the promo code PreMarket24. It'll get you a discount off the intro membership, which is 7 calendar days in the room, 5 trading days. It only bills you one time. It will not recur. So you don't have to worry about being charged again. Come check us out. See if it's right for you.
All right. Thank you, Norm. Okay, guys, let's get to some levels here, and then we'll see if there's anything else that looks interesting for us to look at. So we will hop over to Disney at the moment. I think Disney's going to be a fun one today after earnings last night and looking very positive. So I have the pre-market in here. We're going to look at 119. Oops, that's the high of yesterday. I have the pre-markets right over here. 119.90, 29. No, 119.92. Love the pre-market. We are, let's zoom in here. We are looking at this would be at 117.80. So 117.80 for the low of the pre-market. Again, nice gap up today, 6%. Let's head over to the left, see what else we can find as far as daily levels. And if we're looking at here, zoom in a little more. There we go. Right over here, guys. Good one. 116.20. And then towards the bottom here, 114.12. So plenty of levels there just in case the market gets going. And then we have another one here over at 121.41. And then right here at 123. So 2 levels towards the top, 2 towards the bottom. I think you're set pretty nicely this morning. And just, again, this stock, guys, can move quite a bit, especially on earnings, especially with volume. Look at the range already. It's just about almost $2 here range. So be mindful of that. This thing, you don't have to take a whole lot of shares to get a really good move on it today. Here's a firm this morning. They are looking pretty bad today. Again, down 15%. But they're bouncing from the lows. The lows of the pre-market right now at 1270. They're already up at 1364. So they're moving. They're trying to make a run. I have the pre-market right now being tested at 1367 right over here. A lot of resistance happening there in the pre-market. And you can see daily, right? The daily, how you have some areas there where the pre-market low and the pre-market high are just being confirmed of these daily levels. And the next one, you could almost guarantee it is going to be this one right on here, right? You could just see it right there where that level is going to be, that 114.33, right? So definitely throw that on there. We'll see this thing can get going. Today looks good. Normally I wouldn't have it on my list, but today they got some really good volume. There could be an overreaction to this gap down that maybe can create a good move towards 15 and 14.33. So be on the lookout for that if we can get it going. And if the SPY can continue to stay strong, that could be a nice confirmation to keep this going. So let's be on the lookout for that. All right, Tesla, a firm. Let's see, Tesla here. We have let's see. Let's remove our highs and lows. Tesla, for the most part, high of the pre-market, we're looking at 209.50. So we will slam a level there. And then towards the bottom, guys, highs and lows for the last 2 trading days are taking care of you there. Do not need to add anything more. Let's head over to the left. And again, Tesla looking, man, look at the run on Tesla. Norm, I know you traded this a couple of times, man, throughout this run here.
Wearing the thing out.
A ton. By the time Norm is done, by the time Norm is done, he could be able to afford a few Teslas. Oh man, good stuff. Yeah, Tesla has been great to us. So here it goes. Above 209.50, which is the high of the pre-market. We're going to look at 215.25. So we will slam a level there, and then up here we look at 224.54. All right, excellent. Good stuff, guys. Take a look at Amazon here. So Amazon this morning also moving up pretty well. We are, no. Did not want to do that. Let's go back here, click here, zoom out, and then we'll zoom back in. There we go. So kind of stuck between the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days here and here. So that's looking pretty good there. Towards the top, we do have 105.01. And then towards the bottom, we do have, what do we have here? Right over here, 193.79. We're not going to get there. That's the level I see on the daily. Again, we're not going to hit that, but that's the best level I see. You might have something right over here around 96.19. That could be a good one. But for the most part, I think the big thing is, can we get out of this range that we're stuck in, right? So we've been stuck in this the last couple of days. We were stuck in this even before for 3 days. So let's see if we can get out of that range. Right now, looking pretty good. Our high of a pre-market is all the way up to 102. So we're definitely going to slam a level there as well. Last one on my main list that I like today is going to be Meta. Meta is, again, just continues to somehow stay above this. What is 105? No, 183. Yeah, 183 here. So that's looking good. Not the best pre-market activity, but we are gapping up after a sell-off yesterday. So let's see if that's going to be able to hold, or are we going to retest this level again without making a higher high? That could be very, very interesting because that could signify a breakdown here to 180. So let's see what happens there. And again, all eyes on the SPY because that's going to determine a lot if this thing can get momentum one way or the other. All right, with that said, I think we're pretty much set here, guys. Disney, Affirm, Tesla, Amazon, Meta. We got a couple of good possibles here. It's like Microsoft, APPS. I love the drop. Not a big fan of this stock with the volume, but I do like this drop here. UPST, I know many of you like this one. I personally don't like it, but it does have some volume. Today's down 3%. We have Baba here, which is making some moves. And then we also have Apple, which is one of our usual suspects on deck. We are set. A couple of moderators with the list already on here. I see we have a few IPOs being released, so we'll wait for a few more to be dropped, and then we'll look at what our moderators are looking at today. Norm, anything else besides Tesla catching your eye this morning?
No, I'm watching Tesla. It's got a little bit of a weird price action right now. It was 208, 208.10, and then just dropped to 207.35-ish. I'm not quite sure what that was, but
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, it sure looks interesting, man. Again, this thing, we'll see what it does today, man. 210, 215, not looking so
Awesome.
far-fetched. So we'll see what it does
Really
today.
not.
Yep. AI. I saw a couple of you guys throwing out AI here earlier today. I mean, this stock has been AI overall has been on fire. So anything AI related has definitely been in play and been very active. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure to think about this one. This thing obviously has been on a rip here from 13, even lower. I think the low this was like 10. We're up at 27. Are we extended? Has this ran out of his energy here? We don't have shares for sure with Interactive Brokers, so there's no opportunity to short this thing. You can only trade it long. So it's a tough one to keep on deck. Has it been in play? Absolutely. I don't like to be handicapped like that though. When I cannot trade something short, I don't like it. It tends to put me into a bias to only look for a long opportunity, and I don't want to do that. So I usually stay away from stocks that prevent me shorting them. And I don't know. I'm not sure what to think about this one, guys. Just be very careful. This is very extended right now, and who knows how long this can stay up here or if it's going to continue to go up. So very, very careful. Price action right now looking a little bit weird. 400,000 just dropped in this candle. Look at this pop up. Now back down to 27. So just be very, very careful. Yesterday you did get a nice rip and a sell off. And what else we got it before that? Nice sell off on this would have been Tuesday. So yeah, so not a fan personally. All right, I see Thor's in with his list as well. You got a nice move on AI already. Excellent, man. Yeah, it's been active. So if you're able to get some good moves, excellent. Just be careful. I mean, look at the way this thing is trading now. That is this pop here and then this drop right back down. I mean, you're down. What is it, 80 cents? Man. Careful. What about the 200 EMA on Tesla? Is hovering over our price. Isn't that a problem? I don't know because it could be. But the problem is, man, Tesla's on a rip right now. Where's the 200? This one here? Yeah, it's at 224 though. It's all the way up here on the daily, right? That's my 50. Yeah. So I don't think this is going to if maybe when we get closer, but right now, I don't think that's going to be
You've got $20 to get to that.
Yeah.
Almost.
So
I wouldn't worry about it.
I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah. When we do get closer, yes, the 200 is a very important level, obviously, on the daily for bigger moves, as you can see here when we lost it there, right? So it's an important level on a bigger time frame, but we got a long way to go for that. Long way to go. NVIDIA reversing at R4, but I can't get filled. Why you can't get filled? Are you not using Interactive Brokers, Dash Trader Pro? Maybe pre-market is not allowing you to get in. But yeah, here's NVIDIA doing some stuff as well. Let's see, Neo half finger. We looked at Neo, man. It just looks so bad. This is the worst I've seen Neo. It's been bad for a while, but this is pretty bad here, guys. 1.4. Don't get fooled by this. I mean, look at this pre-market action. It's horrible, horrible. So I wouldn't bother with Neo this morning. All right, guys, 9:13. Let's look at the stuff we have on deck, and then from there we're gonna go over to Brian. He's gonna come in and give us what he's watching at, looking at, giving us his view of the market this morning before he goes live with Andrew. So let's go ahead and bring this over here. If you haven't done so already on YouTube, guys, smack that thumbs up. We appreciate it very, very much. It does help out the channel. We like to be at 200 plus, 164. Just need a couple of more you guys to hit that button, and it's much appreciated. Thank you. All right, let's bring over what we have here on our moderators list. I like my list today, though. Not a bad list. So I really like the list this morning. Yeah. So hopefully we can get something good out of this. All right. Today we have Eamon, potential shorts. Apple, by the way, Eamon, beautiful, nice YouTube video about levels. So if you haven't had a chance to look at it, take a look at it. Very nice information on there that's going to be very helpful as to how to find levels on the daily and some things to look at with indicators. So definitely take the time to do that. Then we have Peter, IPOs for today, a couple on there. You can see on the screen. Peter's list, AMD, Tesla, Apple, secondary list, Disney, Amazon, and Google. And then Thor's watching DKNG, SPY, Google, Tesla, and Meta this morning. So that is what we have so far. We'll wait for a few more moderators to throw out their list, and then we will get rocking and rolling and switch over to Brian, which should be on in just a moment. Or maybe not, because I don't see him on.
I think he was here earlier. I don't know if he had to restart or what.
Okay. I missed him. Yep.
I do say I'm surprised there's not more Disney in there.
Yeah. Only Peter has Disney. Yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah, that's a secondary.
And that's not even a primary. No love for Disney today.
It's on my primary.
I know it's on Peter's primary. AMD. AMD. All right, let's see. He moved too much already. Which one? Venom?
No.
What moved too much?
Not a thing.
Yeah. Love is blind. Disney? I don't think so, man. I don't think it moved too ready. But again, it depends on your strategy. You know, for your strategies, this have moved a ton already. But even within this range, you're getting $2 moves, right? So that's
it has moved a lot. It's not extended really.
Yeah, it's a big chunk. So we will see.
I mean, if it Disney. Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking to only play it long,
correct. It doesn't mean it won't trade well.
Yeah, and if you're looking to play it, long, I get it. You might not want to take something long this, but this could be a great short. This could be a great short too, right? So we'll see.
Could be a great long.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, guys, we are pretty much says I'm using IB with DAS. Okay, Andy, yeah, I should be able to get Phil. Interactive brokers with DAS are really good
There's no
combination.
Brian.
So Brian, do I have Brian?
There is no Brian.
Oh, there is no Brian. We're Brianless. All right, so maybe we'll just have to cut it a little bit short today. But yeah, guys, over on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it. We'll be back again tomorrow. Is engineering the markets tomorrow? No, Friday.
No, it's Friday.
No. So no engineering the markets tomorrow, guys. Only us, me and Norm at 8:30 a.m. So come join us for the pre-market prep as we end this week, which has been it's been so, but it's been better than we have gotten in the last couple of weeks. So pretty good stuff. We will see you guys then. Take care. Hit that thumbs up and have a great and amazing trading day. See you guys.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.
Danny, what's going on there, bull traders? How's everybody doing? Good to see everybody. It got a little quiet in here on me for a second, and you know how much I don't like the quiet. So I had to make that go away. So we know. So I popped on for a minute, and I'd hang out. I'm sure my boy BT will be here in a minute, but until he gets here,